Good morning. Reverend Jeffrey Ryan. We here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living acknowledge that we gather on the ancestral lands of the Cahuilla, the Gabrielino, Tongva, Kizh, and Luiseno peoples. We commit to living in right relations, to love our neighbors, to seek justice and loving kindness, and to walk humbly upon this land. We recognize our oneness so that we may decolonize our minds and set each other free from the pain of racism and violence, to live better as God intended, in harmony with nature and with one another. This is what we commit to. This is the acknowledgement that we make every Sunday morning, recognizing where we are. The place upon which we stand is holy and sacred ground. Good morning, Riverside. I am Reverend Jeffrey Ryan. It is my honor and pleasure to serve this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, where? Love lives here. Love lives here, yes. Great to see all of you here in the room this morning, and also great to see all of our family online. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Dr. Naima. Great to see you. Good morning to Marty and Vicky. Good morning, Mom and Dad in Las Vegas. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. And aloha kakahiaka to Casey and Wayne. And good morning to Lupe and John. Great to see all of you joining us this morning. For those of you who are here in the room, I invite you to take out those cell phones and make sure that they are silenced so that we don't have extra distractions here this morning. Just make sure that those things are silenced. You got it silenced, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. It's either hers or mine, you know, it's one of the two. Like we remind everybody else, and it's either hers or mine. So, so we'll just make sure that those are silenced. So, today is a special day in my life. It is Ed's and my wedding anniversary, our 6th wedding anniversary. So 6 years ago, we were married. 8 years ago, he finally professed his undying love for me. Because 10 years ago, I professed my undying love for him. But we've been married for 6 years now, and what a wonderful 6 years it has been, and what a wonderful 8, and knowing you for even longer than that, it's just been such a blessing to me. And I want to really acknowledge Ed this morning in that you see me, and you know we do this work together as a community, and I would not be able to do the work I do and be who I am without this beloved man standing behind and supporting me, supporting this community the way that he does. And I want to also acknowledge that for the past year and a half, it's been wonderful. He's been able to be here in Riverside the entire time, not having to commute to Vegas, and the commute has resumed. So, at least for the time being. So, I just want our community to realize how much love that he has for this community as well, and how much love and support he has for this community and for me. And so I just want to allow the community to really acknowledge my beloved husband for all the support. Thank you. And thank you, Alex, and thank you, Maria, as well, joining us online and wishing us happy anniversary. So, all right. So, are we ready to move?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. You know, you can also dance to that first song, too. You don't have to just sit there. It's okay. You can, like, anytime you feel the Spirit move you, you can get up and you can dance if you want to. So you can even do the electric slide down the aisle. It's all good. All right. Okay, so here we go. Let's welcome to the temple. Here we go.
You can sing longer, yes.
Yeah, you can dance. You can sing along,
Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate. Come on in. Come on in and sit down. I saw you peeking through the window. I bet you're wondering just what's going on. So put your sneaking around. This is where you belong. And open up the doors now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. No, you don't have to hesitate. Just come on in. Come on in and sit down. Gather around you know this.
All around you, and did you hear all the voices praising? So now you get yourself dancing and singing along.
So let your body move now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry. Come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome to the family. No, you don't have to hesitate. Just come on in. Come on in and sit down. temple, yeah. Welcome to the sanctuary, yeah. Welcome to the temple, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the temple, yeah, yeah. Come on in and sit down. Sit yourself down. Peace, light, love in me. Peace, light, love in me. Hear the stillness of this quiet hour. Sweet words of wisdom fill my ear. Your words of wisdom keep my soul sustained. Let them rain, let them rain. Oh, peace, love in me. Oh, your presence inside me. I rest in knowing you are here. Brighter than 1,000 stars across the sky. How you shine, how you shine. Peace, light, love in me. Peace, light, love in me. Peace, light, love in me.
Thank you for that beautiful music. Good morning. I'm Constance Stringfellow, one of the licensed spiritual practitioners here at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Jeannie Catty Elker and I will be available for service for a brief moment of prayer after service. So please don't leave here with anything on your heart. We love to pray, and we absolutely know that prayer works. So now I invite you to turn within, join me in consciousness. Open your mind and heart, breathing in love, breathing in peace and harmony. Consciously allow yourself to connect with this divine presence, the source of wisdom and strength, divine intelligence, God, the living Spirit Almighty, creator of all things. This energy is everywhere present. And I know I'm one with this divine presence, this essence of God. There is only one power, one presence, one life, one creative source. and we are one with it, one with all people, and there can be no separation in this oneness. In the silence, listen carefully for the inflow of this divine wisdom. Imagine your good unfolding, knowing that we are in silent partnership with God. Take a moment to seek divine guidance, trusting the Spirit within. You won't have to go far. It's already there. Imagine your good unfolding without stressing as perfect health, loving relationships, peace, joy, compassion, abundance, and so much more, knowing that with God, all things are possible. I bless this church service today, everyone entering our doors. I bless our minister, Reverend Jeffrey. I know that he's open to love, to peace, to harmony, compassion, joy, and abundance. I know that Spirit guides and supports him as he delivers a powerful, Spirit-filled message for us today. I bless this beautiful music provided by Jabel and Company. I bless all the behind-the-scenes helpers, audio and sound, virtual tech support. I'm praying for everyone who enters our doors. I'm knowing that God's gift of divine intelligence, wholeness, wisdom, and understanding follows us. And I know that this service unfolds in perfect divine order. And I just let it be so. And so it is.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Imagine no possession. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Live as one.
So just breathing into that space. We lift the lives of our brothers, our sisters, and our siblings in Haiti. We lift them in love. And we know that the power and the presence of God is right where they are. We lift the lives of all those in Afghanistan, knowing there too the power and the presence of God is, that peace is. We lift the lives of our brothers, our sisters, our siblings, and our children who are returning to school. Their teachers, their staff, faculty. We lift them in love as well, affirming wholeness and perfection, equanimity, wisdom. We know too that they are divinely guided, divinely guarded, and divinely governed. And so we also lift the lives of our brothers, our sisters, our siblings around the planet, experiencing any form of dis-ease, discomfort, experiencing any sense of separation whatsoever, recognizing that the power and the presence of God is right there too. The power and the presence of God is within each. It is the one life expressing through and as all life. And so we recognize the oneness, the wholeness, and the unity. And in so doing, not only do we imagine, not only do we envision, but we know a world that works for everyone and all of creation. And so it is. So here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, we do have the vision of a world that works for all, a world that works for everyone in all of creation. And here we have our own mission, our own focus within that vision. And that is, and let's say it together, to embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. That is who we are called to be. That is how we are called to show up. And in the past couple of weeks, we have been really going into spiritual practice together as a community, and we have been focusing on a pause for guidance. That is the theme for this month. And as I promised last week, today's talk title is A Pause for Guidance Part 2, right? The sequel, if you will, or the continuation, if you will, right? And so here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we're working with this theme here of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And so it is into the timeless wisdom that we anchor ourselves, that we ground, that we root ourselves, and that we then are able to open up to the higher vision and living an evolutionary vision for our lives, for each other, and for the planet, to move forward in greater ways. So we are looking at a pause for guidance today. Pause for guidance part 2. At the beginning of the month, we came together in community here, and I reminded us of that it might be time for a tune-up, that we're kind of slogging through. We might be kind of like, at this point, it's like, okay, it's coming to the end of summer, and the kids are back in school, and things are shifting again. We're getting ready to enter into the fall season. And, maybe we're a little tired, we're a little exhausted, and maybe after 18 months, we're really tired and we're really exhausted, and that it's time for, to tune up, to do a little tune-up. And so we were in practice together and I reminded you how important spiritual practice is, the daily practice of meditation, the daily practice of prayer, the daily practice of study, the daily practice of even getting out and taking a walk. But finding whatever spiritual practice works for you that particular day and that particular moment to give yourself a little bit of a tune-up, right? To fine-tune and just kind of renew the soul, renew and reemerge, and just renew your soul and practice self-care. And then last week we talked about really needing a pause for guidance. And what that pause for guidance is it's a pause to listen to the internal guidance, our internal wisdom, because Spirit is everywhere, yes, and the highest most God and the innermost God are one and the same. So where are we going to go for guidance? Somewhere out there? No, we're going to go in here, right? We turn within and we go within for the guidance. We turn within. And so last week we visioned together. We visioned for the high idea of our individual lives. We sat in the visioning practice of surrendering and opening up to Spirit, what Spirit might have to say, what Spirit would like to communicate through us, to us, as us, in us. Right? That Spirit allowing that high idea of our lives, that high idea, Spirit's highest idea of our lives, to be revealed through us. In our Declaration of Principles, it says that we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our spiritual and intuitive nature, and that anyone is sure to be a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling presence, with the indwelling God. So we don't have to wait for somebody else to spout words of wisdom or words of truth. We don't even have to go and read a book, right? We can turn within, that the Spirit is within, the divine wisdom is within, the love intelligence is within, and all we need to do is just silence ourselves long enough, take a pause long enough to listen, to turn within and hear that still small voice that is forever speaking, that is forever revealing, that is forever guiding. And then we have the opportunity to take action upon that which has been revealed, because something else we teach here too, there's a little phrase that we have, treat and move your feet, right? Which means pray and then take action, right? That we first go into treatment and then we move our feet. We first go into spiritual practice, and based upon the spiritual practice, then we take action upon that which has been revealed. That is another step. It's an equally important step. We just don't get to sit on our meditation cushions and enjoy a sound gong bath, which was beautiful this morning. Thank you, Jeannie, for that. That's part of it, but then when we get off that cushion, we got to do something, and it was a little hard this morning to get off that cushion, I'll tell you. I was like, okay,
la, la, la. I'm going to float up here, and then I'm going to sit down here and just be quiet, right? But we have the opportunity where we are called to do something. We are called to do something more than that. And it's not to say that that is bad or that is wrong. That is absolutely necessary. It is that part that rejuvenates. It's that part that renews. It's that part that refreshes. And we often come to the question, I feel, with visioning and praying and that, of like, okay, so what do I do next? What's the next step? What do I do? Okay, you're telling me that I need to get off my meditation cushion. All right, you're telling me I need to get off my meditation cushion. All right, so what am I supposed to do? I've got these things going on in my life that I'm not really enjoying right now. What am I supposed to do? I've got this higher idea. Yeah, Jeff, you talked last week about, catching this high idea, this high vision. That's great. And now what? So today is the now what? And we call it spiritual discernment. It's another practice. It's another meditative practice. It's another opportunity for us to pause for guidance. But we're going to pause for guidance in yet another slightly different way, a more clarifying way. When we sit envisioning and we receive the high idea, and remember, visioning is not just a one and done, right? Think about it. If you only went to the gym once in your life, right? One and done. Okay, that was good, right? It's not a one and done. It's a continual practice. And as you continuously practice, as you practice it, you receive more and more clarity. But with spiritual discernment, there's an opportunity to gain even more clarity. More specific clarity, because visioning is opening up to the high idea. It's very broad questions. But spiritual discernment helps narrow and define some of those questions. Helps clarify perhaps another action item, or what's the next thing for me to do? What am I called to do? What am I called to be? What am I called to experience? What is the next indicated step? That's where spiritual discernment takes us. So in Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says it's through spiritual discernment we see that we have within us a power. Hold on. There we go. We have a power within us, a power which is greater than anything we shall ever encounter, anything that we shall ever come in contact with, a power that can overcome any obstacle. So whatever the question is, as Eddie Watkins Jr. sings, whatever the question may be, God is the answer. Spirit is the answer. There is an indwelling presence within you. There is that love, intelligence. There is that divine wisdom within you that knows, that it knows, that it knows, that is willing to share its infinite wisdom with you, that is willing to guide, that is willing to show, that is willing to demonstrate through you, as you. But we got to be quiet enough to hear it, and we actually have to turn to it. We can't be seeking out there. We actually need to turn within and listen. Okay? Good? Allison's nodding yes. So the practice itself of spiritual discernment looks very similar to the visioning practice. First, we center in our oneness. We begin to enter into a meditative state, and we center into our oneness. And then we anchor ourselves into that divine love intelligence that is forever giving itself, forever expressing itself, forever maintaining and sustaining its beloved creation, which we are. It's that infinite love that breathes us. We don't need to take thought for that. It just breathes us. It gives us life. It expresses life as us. We don't have to take thought for our heartbeat. It just beats. That's love. That is the ever-givingness of love itself. That is a powerful magnificent, glorious expression of intelligence, a divine intelligence that knows what the heck it's doing. So why do I need to tell it what I think it should do? Hey, beat it. Breathe it. Waiting. Right? Why do I think I need to tell it what to do? How about I sit humbly and listen and go, hey, not bad. What else you got for me? What else would you have me know in this moment? Right? So, spiritual discernment. Last week, I invited you to open up to Spirit's highest idea of your life, and something may have come through for you. And we also looked at the questions. Part of the visioning questions are, what must I release? And what must I embrace? And what must I become? Those are critical questions, because those questions, as I've explained many times before, that's where the root of the work, or that's where the crux of the work is. That's where we are called to do the work. What is mine to release? What is mine to embrace? Who am I to become? How am I to stretch and grow? That is where our spiritual work lies. That is where the work of visioning lies. And that is how we come into alignment with the vision, and then the vision pulls us toward it, right? We've talked about that at length, so I'm not going to belabor that much more. But that's where the work is, right? So if we're sitting there, it's like, okay, I'm supposed to release fear. All right, so what? Okay, sweet Spirit, what am I to release, as in service to the high vision? And I hear Spirit say fear. Okay, cool. Fear's big. You're telling me fear. All right. So a spiritual discernment question might be, a fear of what? Which of my multitude of fears would you prefer that I start releasing now? What am I called to be releasing right this minute? Right? Oh, fear of separation. Okay. So diving even deeper. All right, so I'm called to release fear of separation. I've asked that clarifying question, which fear? That's a spiritual discernment question. Got an answer, fear of separation. Okay. So another spiritual discernment question. Separation from what? And listening quietly. Separation from Spirit. Okay. So if I'm now being called to release my fear of separation from Spirit, how might I go about doing that? Is the next question. How might I go about doing that? Or another question could be, what spiritual practice might help me move in that direction of releasing fear? Sitting in meditation. Okay. So sitting in meditation might help me feel more connected and release that fear. Okay. So, sweet Spirit, what type of meditation? That's another spiritual discerning question. What type of meditation? And listening, waiting, allowing. Mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness. I don't know that much about mindfulness. So, how do I learn more about mindfulness? Another discerning question. Okay. And wait and listen. Oh, there's a class? Is now the time to take it? Next question, spiritual discernment. Is now the time to take it? Yes. Okay. Well, how am I going to pay for it? Listening again. Do you see the process? Do you see what's happening here? Do you see what's occurring here? Sorry, Michelle, I'm moving. Do you see what's occurring here? That we started off with visioning. We learned in visioning that I'm to release fear, or that we're to release fear. That's what came through in visioning. We're to release fear. Okay. All right. And do you see how the spiritual discernment process drills it down to an actionable item, to something I can do, that is then in service to, that then supports my alignment with the high idea for my life? What Spirit is wanting to gloriously express through me, as my life. But I've drilled down to starting with Spirit, and Spirit revealing, envisioning that I'm to release fear, that we're to release fear, and drilling it all the way down to an actionable item. Taking a class on mindfulness is something I can do. Okay. But notice that it's not okay, there's fear. All right, so, let me think. Let me try and figure out what that means. Let me try to figure out how to take a class. Let me try to figure out what spiritual practice. Let me create more discord or disharmony within my own life because I'm efforting so hard. I'm trying so hard to figure something out using my limited capacity. Instead, I'm turning within. And I'm listening and allowing Spirit to reveal the next indicated step. I'm allowing Spirit to clarify it for me, rather than me trying to figure out how to get from A to B point 2 by way of X and L and M, right? I don't need to figure that part out. I just turn within and I ask Spirit, okay, so please give me some clarity. I'm asking that, I'm seeking and I'm waiting clarity. I'm not even saying, please give me. It's like, I'm waiting for clarity. I'm turning within and just posing a question and allowing Spirit within, the highest most God and the innermost God are one and the same. Direct revelation for those of us who are willing to live in close contact with the indwelling Spirit. Direct revelation is a possibility, direct truth. And so I know that that is possible for each and every one here. That's possible for each and every one at home. That there is this possibility of listening and being guided, pausing to receive guidance. And then acting on it. What good is it to get the guidance, to get the direction, to then not do? Right? So I've been having the experience, the blessed experience of a frozen shoulder, my left shoulder, for, going on 5 months now, 5 months now, I guess, at this point. And so at first it was just achy. It's like, I'm probably just sleeping on it wrong. It's not, whatever. Okay. It's just a little painful. It's a little discomfort. I can't, I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. I'll stretch. Stiff. Okay. Right. And then it continued to progressively get worse to the point where it was a constant 5 or 6 on my own personal pain scale. I know what my personal 10 is. It's back and nerve pain, so I know what a 10 feels like. But it was roughly every day, all day long, a 5 or 6. Right? So constant, and constantly aware of it, constantly paying attention to it, not able to really function and think about other things because it's just so painful. So what do? I go to the doctor. The doctor gives me a few muscle relaxers, which helps a little bit, gives me some stronger pain medication, which helps reduce the inflammation a little bit, and then also prescribes PT. Okay. So I'm following the doctor's orders, and I go to PT. If I were only to receive the PT prescription, right? I consulted with the doctor. I got some guidance. The doctor said, go to PT. All right, cool. If I stopped at the prescription, what? Nothing. I have to act on it. I have to take that next indicated step. So I'm telling one of my friends here in Riverside, it's like, I have this prescription for PT. I had one session in Vegas, and now I need to, find a PT here in Riverside. And I didn't know that we happened to be talking, and she was in her car on Bluetooth. And sitting next to her was a friend of hers who had frozen shoulder, who knew a really great PT, and said, hey, go check these guys out. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you, sweet spirit, right? In alignment. I'm following the breadcrumbs. I'm following the trail. I'm doing the next indicated step. So I make an appointment. I go see the PT. Now, if I were to go to the PT, and if I were just to go and sit there, I was like, this is a nice place, right? And the PT was showing me the exercises. I'm like, oh, those look good. If I didn't then do the exercises that the PT was showing me, am I going to experience any change in my shoulder? That's like thinking about it. Oh, okay, I'm creating a mental equivalent. I'm creating all right, yeah, cool. But I'm not moving it. I'm not allowing him to move it, right? So I don't do that, right? I mean, that would be kind of silly, paying your money and your deductible and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I, of course, experience the treatments. I, of course, go through and do the exercises and allow him to do the manipulations that need to happen to free the shoulder up. And I commit to going twice a week, and I commit to doing the exercises while there. Awesome. I'm seeing great improvement. Thank you, Dr. Mike. I really appreciate everything you're doing for me. You're really helping to mobilize my arm. You're really helping me to be in a lot less pain. And what's really made the difference? Me doing the exercises that he has prescribed for me to do at home. Because if I'm not willing to invest in my own rehabilitation, if I'm not willing to invest in my own healing, I could be suffering this for 2-3 years with just him doing what he's doing and me doing nothing. But in the period of 4 short weeks, couldn't do that. Still a little owie. And the therapy is not always pleasant. And the exercises are not always pleasant. But it's just a matter of doing the next indicated step, the next indicated step, the next indicated step. And it is a willingness to invest in it. It's a willingness to invest in myself and my healing and my wholeness. And beloveds, this is the way it works for spirituality as well. This is the way it works for all of us as well, as we are opening up to Spirit's highest idea of life, as our individualized expressions of life. This is how we do it. Same idea. Turn within, seek guidance, listen, be available, pursue the guidance, build the relationship, build the trust, and follow and follow and follow, and allow yourself to be guided. But pause each time along the way. You get clarity, and then you just do the next indicated thing. He hasn't given me, a gajillion exercises to do all at once. That's too overwhelming. We start with this exercise and this exercise. Okay, mastering those. Then we start with this, then we add this and this and this, and then we master those. And then we add and we add and we add, and now I can get my hand over my head. Same thing with this, with visioning, with spiritual discernment. You start right where you are and you get clarity and you do the next indicated thing, the next indicated thing, the next indicated thing. And before you know it, life is changed. You're changed. You're transformed. So I invite you this week to really contemplate what has come through for you in the visioning session last week, and what is continuing to come through for you perhaps in your visioning sessions as you're practicing. What is coming through? And then pause and ask clarifying questions. Go within, just simply turn within, recognizing the oneness, anchoring in love, and then ask the question, what's mine to do? How does community and connection show up in my life? What's my next indicated step? What wonderful ideas and possibilities are there? Ask the clarifying questions. Ask the questions that get you closer and closer to an action item, and then do the action. Take the action. Take the next step. Don't just think about it. It's like, oh, that would be a good idea. That would be a good idea to go see a PT. Like that possibility. Right? What good is a gym membership if you never walk through the door? So pause. Listen. Do. And so it is. So let's come together in consciousness. I invite our practitioners and our core council members to please stand and surround the sanctuary. All right, let's come together in consciousness, shall we? No, I gotta stay here. So we take a nice deep breath in, let it out, and we recognize that there is just this one life, this one power, this one love, intelligence that is forever expressing itself, forever making itself known. It is a divine wisdom. It is the peace that passes all understanding. It is the wisdom of the ages. And it is always available. It is always expressing. It is always expressing its love, its generosity, its abundance, its joy, its bliss. It's forever expressing as harmony, as order, as divine right action. It was so in the beginning, and it is so now, and it will always be so, because it is all that there is. And so I recognize that this is the very who of who I am, that right where I am, the power and the presence of God is. Right where I am, love is. It is the very essence of my being. It is the truth. It is the wholeness and the fullness and the isness of the who of who I am. I am that I am. And I know that my mind is one with the divine mind, that my body is one with the body of the divine. I know that this infinite love intelligence is forever expressing in, through, and as me, because I am inseparable from it. So it is ever available, it is ever accessible, it is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. So no matter where I am, I have direct access to the inner spirit, to the highest most God, which is the innermost God. I have direct access to it, always and forever, inseparable from it. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of all life, of all creation, of everyone present. Because there is only one life in full, glorious, magnificent expression, expressing individually as individualized beings, as individualized atoms, as individualized particles, as individualized beings. Oh, how good it is to know this, that there is just this one. And so I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, recognizing that we are the high idea of spirit manifesting, making itself known, fulfilling itself through and as each one of us. I know that this love intelligence is forever giving itself, forever expressing itself through the lives of each one in our beloved community. I know that it is guiding and directing our community as a whole and each individual member and friend of our community. I know that we are guided, that we are guarded, that we are governed by this one life, this one love, this one infinite intelligence that knows. And so we surrender into this knowing, we surrender in and we allow it to have its full sway. And we take action upon that which has been revealed through us, to us, as us. We just take the next indicated step, trusting and knowing that each footfall is falling perfectly in divine right placement, knowing that the place upon which we stand, the place upon which we walk, the place upon which we live is holy ground. Because the power and the presence of Spirit itself is right where we are. So everywhere we walk, every place we go is sacred, is holy. And the work that we engage in through our hands, through our minds, through our bodies, through our minds, the work that we engage in is sacred and holy, in service to the high idea, in service to the vision of life itself, in service to the vision of love expressing itself. So our individualized visions are just divine aspects of the one vision. So what is each of ours to do is revealed, and we do it. We do it. We say yes. We allow Spirit to pour itself in us and pour itself through us out into the world, for we are a blessing and a benediction to all that we come in contact with. We allow the song of Spirit, the universe, the one song, to sing through us, to use our voice for good, to use our voices to inspire, to encourage, to express love. We allow the joy of Spirit to pour through, pour into, and fill us up to overflow, and we give from this overflow. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful for this knowing. I am so grateful for this beloved community. I am so grateful for the sacred yes that each one says here and now. Yes. 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 And I release this word now into the law, knowing that it is done, knowing that it is complete. And together we affirm, and so it is.
yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit,
Shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart.
Oh, wonderful Spirit,
Shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart.
Wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me. Sing your song into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me. Sing your song into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself into
Pour
my
yourself
heart.
into.
Oh, wonderful Spirit. Oh,
Pour yourself in me.
pour yourself into my heart.
Oh, wonderful Spirit.
Thank you, Jabel, and thank you, Jeff. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So one of the spiritual practices that we have here at Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, and especially here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, is conscious contributions. This is actually a spiritual practice. It's not just like tossing money into a basket, right? It's a spiritual practice. We do this with intention. That's why we call it a conscious contribution. So the easiest way to make your conscious contribution to this beloved community so that we all can continue to do the work that we're doing in the world, so that we can enter into and practice the law of circulation, the principle of circulation. The easiest way that we can do this is through text to give. So simply pull out your phone, type in 951-419-5858, and simply type in the amount you are choosing to contribute, and then hit send. It's just like texting a friend. It is that easy. Another easy way is online on our website at riversidecsl.org in the upper right-hand corner. That's still a little upper right-hand corner. You can click on the word contribute and contribute there. And of course, if you're here in the room, in the sanctuary, there is the mirrored vessel right back there, right behind where Laura is seated, and you can contribute right there as well. Don't forget, there's also 2 or more, which goes to our building and grounds to maintain our beautiful facility. So that is above and beyond your regular conscious contribution, and you can contribute all the same ways. If you are contributing online for that, just simply type in the word more, or excuse me, via text to give, simply type in the word more, and then that automatically moves it there. So we are richly blessed. We are blessed. We are dripping in love. We are dripping in joy. We are dripping in peace. So let's sing about that for a moment, shall we? And feel that energy of dripping.
You know it's so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. Dripping in joy,
Dripping in joy,
dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich.
Thank you. Woo. All right. So I just want to send love out, and as we see, we can say good morning to Reverend Leslie Goodwin joining us from Phoenix, Arizona, and the Ennison family. Great to see all of you. Good morning to Dorcel, and hey, tomorrow Chester's here. Hi, Chester. Tomorrow's online. Great. Anita, good morning, Anita and Frank, and good morning, Denise. Earl's here. Denise is at home. I think it's a pattern. Men's group today or something, maybe. I don't know. And good morning to soon-to-be Reverend Sanja. And yeah, I think we got everybody there. So I want to share with you that as you are doing your practice this week, as you are doing your spiritual discernment this week, one of the questions I want you to ask yourself is, what spiritual practice is going to support me most? Okay? When you're doing your spiritual discernment practice this week, ask the question, what spiritual practice is going to support me the most in this way, in moving forward? And then I want to let you know that we have 2 classes coming up that will support you in this way. The first one is Essential Ernest Holmes, and that's going to be taught by Neil right over here. Yay, there's Neil. The first one is Essential Ernest Holmes. That is going to be starting on September 14th through the 16th. This class looks at the Declaration of Principles, also known as the What We Believe statements, and spends time diving really deep into those principles and supports it with practice. Especially a beautiful meditation practice that takes you deeper and deeper as the week goes. And you're reading excerpts from different pieces that Ernest Holmes wrote that support going deeper with the principles of the Declaration of Principles, right? Imagine. Crazy, right? So that's the first one. So that starts on September 14th. You can register for that online at riversidecsl.org. The other one, it's a brand spanking new class, meaning none of you have taken it yet. All right? Including me. I haven't taken it yet. And this one is called Spiritual Principles and Practices. Wow. More principles and practices. It's just slightly different. This is more of a foundational level. It's more of an entry level. So if you're like, what is all this, right? Or if you're like, it might be good to go back and let's look at some of the basics. Let's look at some of those core things right there back at the basics. This is a class for you. And guess what? It's only 5 weeks. 5 weeks. That's not a huge time investment. Fabulous, right? It's more like a jump start to get going. And so that's going to be showing up on Thursdays, September 16th through October 14th. And Dinah, right there, is going to be facilitating that. So it's spiritual principles and practices. Nice, great, easy introduction. And, a refresher of hey, you might have forgotten about this practice. Maybe we should try it, right? So both of these classes are going to be on Zoom because they can be. And so they're going to be on Zoom. And you can register for them at the website, riversidecsl.org. All right. So I invite you to be contemplating this week what spiritual practices, and ask Spirit what spiritual practices will support you in your spiritual discernment and in your divine unfoldment, and then really consider taking one of these classes this fall. Okay? And then in October, we have yet another class. It's a thriving class on abundance and economics and prosperity. So that's coming up again in October. And then, Jeannie, are we going to do connection practice later in the fall? Yes. And then we're also going to do connection practice again later in the fall, which is another beautiful technique and practice. It's called a connection practice. There's another practice to really connect with ourselves and connect with one another. So there's plenty of opportunities this fall to really get deep into the principles and the practices and to practice. Yes? All right. So let's stand and let's say it together, shall we? Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in that's hard for me to do with my arm, but love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. And I receive it. And I move love forward. Because love lives here. All right, here we go. Let's sing about it, shall we? Sing our love out into the world.
I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Sing it. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy. I dance my joy. I dance my joy into the world. Last one. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I live my peace. I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. Happy Sunday, you guys. Love you all. Have a great day. Love.